Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 was released in 2001 and it was a big success like the second one, commercially and critically, in which it received a rare 10 out of 10 rating from GameSpot. Well, at least the version for the 6th-gen consoles. So I'm hearing some lab for some reason to see if these inferior console versions are better than old glider fuel. Now, it may look like a petrol can over there, but trust me, the label says glider fuel. While the next-gen versions were made by Neversoft, these versions for the PS1 and N64 were ported by Shabba Games and Edge of Reality respectively, the latter of which was the last game released for the system in August 2002. Yeah, this late. Later on, Shabba Games were responsible for Wakeboarding Unleashed featuring Sean Murray. No, not that Sean Murray, Sean Murray. Edge of Reality on the other hand made Loadout. Remember that? No? Me neither. Since the well-known versions can somewhat stand the test of time like a ripped old man. Not ripping up. Hey, what are you? What the hell? I didn't really mean it! Let's see if these versions are good for those who couldn't afford at least a PS2 at the time. The game has the usual stuff, like 2-minute skating sessions and licensed songs that I can't get out of my head. I know the lyrics of I Can't Surf very well, but that's only because that's the only lyrics this song has. What these versions have in common is that they play like Pro Skater 2 but with a different skin. It has the same lip system as the previous game and apparently it still has that big drop warning, where you bail if you don't jump before landing. I thought we're done with that. Oh great, now Lisa will never skate again. Control wise, they play the same as Pro Skater 2. It's probably due to the nature of the lock frame rate of 30, but I can't do a revert without ending a combo. It's a matter of accuracy, but even then, when I try to do a revert at the right time at times, it just doesn't work. On the N64 version, the grind, flip, ollie, and grab buttons are mapped to the C buttons, which makes it easier to play like the PlayStation version. In fact, its control scheme is very similar. The previous gen versions has most of the levels from the next gen version, but for some reason the map order is changed. Canada and Los Angeles has been swapped on the list, so now the latter is the second map. Speaking of Canada, it looks very different. Not because of the graphics and that drag and draw distance. Use the next gen version for comparison. See the left side of the map? Now look at the PS1 version. Now it has buildings and a few goodies like a deck. PS3 dropped the cast feature, so if you want to increase your stats, you have to collect these coins throughout a level. There's 5 on each level. To unlock a level, you have to complete a certain amount of goals like getting a high score, collecting the escape ladders, doing a certain trick in a certain place, activating or destroying 5 things, and so forth. The levels feel empty. This is of course to optimize the game for lower end systems, but considering how the Minneapolis level from the first one has moving cars, I wonder why Shabba and EOR didn't implement them in the Los Angeles level at least. Like the previous 2 games, there's 3 competition levels where you have to get at least 3rd to unlock the next level, at least the first 2. To do this is to get a great performance on at least 2 of the 3 runs. Fails will deduct your grading if a variety counts. I'd just like to remind you this whenever I do a review of one of the first 4 Tony Hawk games. Like the second game, it has a park creator and a skater creator, and won't you believe it, they're just carbon copies from the second game. You can't create a female skater, and you have to wait for your level to be optimized or something. Also, the versions feel slow due to the frame rate locked at 30. I'm more used to the PS2 version of the Tony Hawk games, so really, these versions in common feel boring. Now it's time for the comparisons. Some of the problems the PS1 version has is as follows. Whenever I try to restart the level, I'll have to wait for a bit so the player is spawned on its starting location, I'm guessing. And whenever I end a run and have to check the goals again, the level has to reload for some reason. What the hell? If you can't check your goals without reloading the level when you pause the game, why not here? Then there's the fact that some of the textures look muddy and the warping is just annoying. As for the N64 version, the advantage of being on a cartridge means that there's no loading screens to worry about. Everything that you select, every time you have to restart, and every time you want to test a level, the game loads them instantly. The graphics are kind of better. There's texture filtering and no warping, which is a plus. Though the downside of these cartridges is that there's little space to store your game. Because of that, the songs are now short loops that can be annoying for most of the time. Well, at least Ace of Spades is there, so it's not all doom and gloom. The draw distance problem still persists though. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the Los Angeles level. Now here's the N64 version next to the PS2 version, because why not? So overall, which one is the best? Well, the N64 version has a few graphical improvements and the loading times are non-existent, but the short loops can be irritating. They both have the same issues like draw distance, basic character creator lifted from the second game, and empty levels, so my pick has to be none of them. Like, seriously, these versions were only made to cash in on those that couldn't afford a new console at the time. I mean, I don't blame them. There are games for the PS2 that were ported to the PS1, but nowadays they seem pointless. You can get a used copy of Pro Skater 3 and, if you haven't already, a PS2 for cheap these days, so what's the point? Unless you're a collector. But just to be fair, I'll have to pick the N64 version.